I really want to get into spoilers with Ryan, but he was like right there. We both kept going like.
You like so I will be your Ryan. I'm
Thank
Frankey.
you.
What's up, everyone? We are spoiling Sinners today, which means that if you have not seen it or you care about spoilers, please dip because we are talking Sinners.
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
Yo, for me 2 weeks. For me 2 weeks.
Listen, it's been like a solid month for me. Like I'm like,
I can't believe. How many times have you seen Sinners?
Three.
Okay, I've seen it twice. The first time I saw it on a regular film in a regular theater, and the second time I saw it in the IMAX theater, which is the one you saw it at, on 66th Street, which is the first IMAX theater in New York City, and
baby.
what people be doing work for, and it was a totally different experience. So
I saw it all in IMAX.
You saw it every single one.
So I'm kind of nervous.
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing it standard after hearing Ryan Coogler's explanation on how he filmed it and what the experience was like, I'm glad I got that experience because it was very different.
Yeah. And
I did view that movie very different.
Yeah.
Seeing it in IMAX second, I couldn't imagine watching it in IMAX and then watching it regular.
Right.
But for those of you who don't remember or are at home and are just a little curious, the synopsis for Sinners, which I wrote myself, I did not take this, is twin brothers Smoke and Stack decide to open a juke joint after returning to their hometown in Mississippi, not aware of the new supernatural visitors in town. I think that's a
good
comprehensive.
Synopsis. That's a good synopsis. There's a lot more that goes into the movie that like the synopsis doesn't like.
Yeah, I don't. And that's what we're gonna talk about.
But that's what. But I feel like when we talk about this movie, and this was like a fear that I had after I watched it, I was like, the marketing completely just sells two Michael B. Jordans, vampires, maybe. And I feel like that's what people are going for because that's enough. Like that's something if I was just like the casual, I'll be like, two Michael B. Jordans and vampires? Bet.
Well, let's do it. And and I wore a Blade shirt today because
very fitting.
I felt like everyone was like, and even when you told me you were going to interview Ryan Coogler initially, the first thing I said to you was,
"Are you gonna ask him about the Blade thing?"
Yeah, was this a Blade script that Marvel said no to and they rewrote? And my second one was if Jonathan Major was supposed to be Stack.
Yes.
And we'll get into both of them, but I want to start with the Blade one. This is absolutely nothing like Blade.
No.
And I could not imagine how Blade would be in this story.
Yeah, I think it's different than a lot of vampire movies. Obviously, it has similarities to, From Dusk Till Dawn, and a lot of people will make that comparison, and rightfully so.
Right.
But it is different than a Blade. It's not like necessarily like one man against like a horde of vampires, this cool gothic, like slick, it's not somebody walking into a club and there's like blood raining down. It's nothing like that. It's more cultural. It's more grounded. It's more of like a grittier take, and it honestly feels like a bluegrass like type of movie. Like, it feels like kind of like this old school style film, not unlike something like a Chinatown. That like, what if you introduced like vampires, it's like a Chinatown setting. That's what I was like the feeling that I was getting.
That's the thing about Blade. He is, I think, aesthetically always metropolitan.
Yes.
Like you would never catch him. He's urban.
I think that's the best way to like describe that.
And futuristic, and maybe it's the Wesley take, but that is not what this is. And I think to your point, the entire thing about Blade's existence, I think, is one being like biracial, but that's what the story is around. This story, I think, was more about hate and running from your history.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think, I think there are themes of that in Blade, but I think this is so much closer. Yeah. And I told Ryan Coogler this himself, to Bitterroot, which they were in production with at one point. For those of you at home who haven't seen Bitterroot, it's an Image comic. And it's set during the Harlem Renaissance. As a family there,
right? And
they escaped from after the burning in Tulsa.
Okay.
They're all demon hunters.
Okay.
But the demons are white people who were possessed because of their racism, and then they find out black people are also getting possessed because of their animosity towards racism. That's a different demon.
Yeah.
And immediately when Woomy starts talking about like the hate, these are hates, and stuff like that. I was like, these are references towards Bitterroot. She also talks
about like possession and things of that sort, like,
and that's what she thinks it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's like all African folklore, and I could tell that Ryan Coogler did a lot of research.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Because he's from the Bay, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's from the Bay, but he's a smart guy. Like, that man is a sponge for, like, all types of information. Mm-hmm. Like, he was talking to me about, and this is on the podcast, Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy, by the way. Shameless plug. Like, look at the camera, like, hey, make sure. But, like, he's just such a sponge for information. Like, he went on this, like, full-on, like, I'll kid you not, like, 7-minute rant about him having a conversation with George Lucas and how he was talking about, like, childbirth and how humans, the attachment to our parents are due to, because, like, we as humans have, like, we stand upright, we have narrower hips, so therefore when we give birth sooner than other animals do. So when other animals are born, they're, like, fully formed, and when we're born, we're, like, very much, like, helpless. And it's that helplessness that attaches us to our parents, and that's why it's kind of like a hack whenever you, like, have any type of, like, film or piece of media that has to do with parental kind of like relationships. And that I was just like, you got all that from a conversation with George Lucas? He's like, yeah, bro. Like, he just knows how to pull information from a bunch of different things.
It's clear how incredibly bright he is and how invested he is in his craft from that 12-minute Kodak video in which they released it on Twitter. And a medium like crazy. Twitter is not meant for videos that long. No. And people were watching it to the end because he was just engaging us. And I think more directors should really do that, where they speak about their craft and it gives us this avenue to see from their perspective. And for me, I saw the first one. I saw the movie in a regular theater. And then I watched the Kodak film, and then I watched it in the IMAX theater. And it made me appreciate and see so many things, because you can't see in a regular theater. And I'm not trying to shame people who can't go. Because they may not have access to it.
It's only 10 in the world and 15 with the true 70 millimeter in the world. So, it's only 10 with the true 70 millimeter, but only like 15 IMAXs
in the world. So. But I will say it's a different experiences when they get into more action sequences, when they get into the more supernatural aspects. The aspect ratio goes from
like that widescreen Panavision to that I can't remember the exact aspect ratio, but that, like, beautiful 70 millimeter. I think it's like 7.4 type of thing. And, like, I remember, like, seeing, like, a behind the scenes where he's kind of describing the reasoning before that. And he said it's because, like, when he went to Mississippi, like, you can like, it's a very unique landscape, and that the, like, horizon, and you can see the curvature of the earth, like the way the sun is, like, kind of like rising above it. And so he says you can only capture that in that beautiful, like, 70 millimeter. Like, you don't really get the same effect if you're doing that, like, widescreen Panavision one.
And you're talking about that scene when the sun rises.
When the sun rises, right? But there's also this beautiful scene where Smoke and Stack are, like, standing together, and you could, like, I think it's the moment when the sun goes down, like, right before the sun goes down. And honestly, it's one of my favorite shots in the movie, because you could tell that this is, like, Smoke reminiscing on the moment before shit hit the fan. And, like, that last moment with his, like, bro, and like it only is like a 5-second scene, but it's so beautiful because
it's romanticized. It's meant to be.
You know what I'm saying?
And that scene is towards the end of the film, to your point. And we have already gone back to the widescreen. And so just like the supernatural events that happen over the evening, this one moment for him, which is magical, is filling up the screen. But I wanted to get into opening thoughts without spoilers. What was your favorite thing about the film?
Oh my gosh. I mean, now you're going to have to ask me
just
to do a
Sophie's
choice. Just one thing.
Sophie's choice. Like, Sophie had a harder choice.
I think she had a harder choice. It's an expression. But
no. I love that.
That white woman had a hard choice.
She
did. But oh my God, if I had to choose, like, one thing, just one thing, is there's an element, a Venn diagram, where the villain comes from, like, an Irish background. Right? And then you have, like, him coming in to kind of, like, ruin what the black community has made, and, like, how, they are in a way trying to be free because it's during Jim Crow, and they said we just need to have a place that's for us. And it's kind of funny because you have these guys who are quote unquote sinners, villains, like gangsters, who are coming in to say, we're just trying to have something for us, for our community. They galvanize everybody to make this thing happen in one night. And then in come the white people, which on the surface, white people ruining black people's fun. Okay, that's par for the course. But it goes so much deeper than that, because this is an Irish villain who is seen, like, similar things that are happening to the Black community now, because I feel like a lot of people will forget that there's a lot of overlap between happened between those two cultures.
I'm glad you brought that up. I have a video I'm going to put out tomorrow, and it's historical Easter eggs. And one thing that I really liked about Ryan Coogler is that you can tell he took one good thing about Marvel, and it's about hiding history throughout the film in a way that's not overt. And for Marvel, it's comic book Easter eggs. And in this, it was actual historical Easter eggs. And the Irish vampire, Irish people were originally not considered white, as a majority of the population immigrated as indentured servants and weren't actually white, because race is a construct, which we hear later. In exchange for fighting alongside the Union in the Civil War, Irish people were granted white citizenship. They became white men and land. But they came because they were running from the British. They were running from slavery. And then they experienced racism in the United States when they got here and were slaves. But they were still white. So they were like, you know, the America promised everyone freedom, but then they were like,
only went to the people that they considered
that they
to be
looked
white.
at.
Exactly.
I got a bunch of facts in here.
But it was just wild to me, because again, the villain is so layered, and it's not in an overt way. You know, like he could easily have just been kind of like, oh, I hate these Black people, like I'm just gonna like fuck up everything that they got. But he's kind of like coming from this like altruistic standpoint, where he says, I've been here, I know what it's like to have your freedom taken away. I'm giving you freedom. I want to be a part of you, and I want you to be a part of me. Let's create our own culture, dance and sing and make music together. And even though it's like, I have to kill you to make that happen. That's where the evil part comes in.
To him, it was life, right?
But it's life. You know?
It was life. I agree. And I think that was so one of the most compelling things about the villain was even when he comes and he plays music for them, it's spooky and terrible, right? They're on the banjo, like they're
literally talking about picking boy robbing clean,
and I was like, what is going on? But then when Black people come out and they merge, the music is now it's inviting, it's good. And
honestly, I wanted to join in on that party.
That
party was
like,
lit
because everybody from inside pulled up.
I was over there like,
this is lit. Like, and that's what he was talking about. He was like, and he was like, we could go kill these.
We go racist people too.
They ain't even banging with you for you.
Ryan Coogler himself, because I know people are gonna come out and say like, oh yeah, that vampire is racist. He's trying to fuck with the Black people. But Ryan straight up told me, he said like, he's not racist at all. Like he's one of them. He wants to be.
It was very clear that he thought he was one of them. And it was very clear even when he talked to that Klansman. You know, after he was like, look at these hoes. We got them out of here.
Right.
And I saw it even when Michael B. Jordan was even when Stack was telling Smoke what was up, he was like, I'm trying to make sure we live forever in happiness together. This is not a life for us. In fact,
he said we was never going to be free. You know what I'm saying? We wanted this, but this is something that we were never going to have. That's exactly what he's saying. And I'm not going to leave you here in this world of like sinners. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna, I'm not doing this shit without you. And I thought that was like so. Again, we jumping all over the place, and I'm gonna bring it back, but like there's also like an element of like masculinity between men, but also having like affection towards one another. And I was so happy to see like affection towards these two hardened men to say, I'm not being free without you. I'm not leaving you behind. And that's like the relationship between Smoke and Stack that I was really like on board with. But back to like the vampirism and everything. I just loved how they kind of like used the mythos and the kind of like culture of vampires to kind of say like, being a vampire is equal to freedom. Do you have to make a deal with the devil to get that freedom? Maybe. But what's the alternative? Living on this earth with the devils that you know, which is what Smoke said. Like, you want to deal with the devil. But then you
don't live life. My biggest critique of LA when people are like, you should move here, right? Is that I feel like it is a snow globe. The weather's always the same. It's so perfect out here. And you don't get to experience change. So like a New York summer is fire
like that,
because you grew up here. For me, I'm like, every time I come to LA, the weather's the same. Even in July, I have to bring a little jacket, right? in New York in July, I wouldn't even dream to look in the direction of a jacket.
Nah.
We have scolding
It'd be hot
heat.
out
Yeah.
there.
And then we have winters.
Yeah.
And the winter makes me think of the heat. Knowing that summer's coming up, like now that it's getting warmer, that changes the way that I think and how I am experiencing life.
Right.
And it's different. If you're a vampire and you're sitting there in stasis.
Yeah. You can't even feel the sun.
And you're doing the cheat code. And that's what Sammy was trying to get to him, right? Music, everything is different because you're stuck in this one place.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Because there's so much I love about this film. But the I want to say like the concept of freedom, you know, and this is what I picked up on the third watch, right? It's like you have Sammy, who's the preacher's boy, who's like, you know, man of God, he's the son. And then you have the sinners, Smoke and Stack, and then what happens on that side. And then you could tell at the beginning there's like a choice, right? Yeah. His father, who's a preacher, who's preaching God, he could say, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't playing no damn music.
Right.
But, you know, if you're a Christian man, you believe that God gives men free will to find out those choices of his own. So he's giving Sammy the free will, the freedom to choose, like, to dance with the devil if he so chooses.
Yeah.
Right? But then it's like he leaves that situation and then he gets confronted with a new type of freedom, which is the vampires and everything. But it's like, which one is the real type of freedom, right? Like, like, you know, it's
and he chose twice, right?
He chose twice.
Because at the end he is offered to do it, and he's like, nah, this is not. I love to live in life. This was great, and honestly, why would you want to be on Earth?
Yeah.
For eternity.
And I dug that. Again, it's again choosing, like, he chose the devil that he knew, and he's like, I'm choosing this life.
This devil.
Because that shit. I saw that shit.
And it wasn't great, right? Who wants to drink blood? That's nasty. You don't get to eat food. You don't get to see a sunrise.
Nah, man.
It's crazy. I did want to talk about, speaking of mistakes, I do want to talk about the twins because it definitely, since we saw like the teaser trailer over a year ago, immediately everyone's like, Jonathan Majors was meant to be in this film and Stack. And I not gonna hold you, I miss him. I definitely yes, I think he's an incredible actor. I definitely think he doesn't need to be acting. Like, I think there may be someone else that we're not seeing. Yeah. But definitely in terms of what was in the pool,
like during that time, that was his time.
That was his time, and he would have really killed it as Stack.
Plus, he was just in Creed 3, like, you know.
And we saw that brotherly, and they had that same dynamic. Yeah. I think, though, it would have changed the story, to your point, because the fact that they were identical twins.
The fact that they were twins, because if they would have just been brothers, like, there's like a disconnect there. Honestly, if they were brothers, the From Dusk Till Dawn accusations and, like, you know, that just would have went out, like, all the way, because that was George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. That was about two brothers getting locked in a den of vampires. Right. And so if you have this, it's just that, but with black people. So, like, I think, like, that's
way better than the rest. Well, let me not talk about I love Quentin.
Listen, Quentin Tarantino's my favorite director. Like, period. He's always been,
I think that's fair.
You know, he's always had some of my favorite movies. Like, Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies of all time.
My favorite.
Inglourious Basterds is his magnum opus. Like, I will always sing the praises of Quentin Tarantino while also calling out his weird ass foot fetishes and his weird obsession of saying the N-word, writing lines to say the N-word. Yeah. Quentin, love your creative brain, but you ain't got to do that. But From Dusk Till Dawn, if I hear one more person say, like, oh, so it's just From Dusk Till Dawn, it's more than that.
Is that not film anymore?
But that's like, you watch The Studio.
Yes.
I just watched the new the latest episode.
Yes,
but the one with Olivia Wilde, not Wink, but the one with Olivia Wilde, where, like, the quote of good artists borrow, great artists steal. Right. And it's like, oh, this is just a ripoff of Chinatown, but they're still just kind of like, oh, but it's going to be great. Like, all great art is derived from other art.
Shakespeare stole all of his stories.
All his shit.
He just wrote it
better. And everything we're seeing are just rehashed things from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So, and like, I don't want to get into the full conversation, but, like, when people get upset at adaptations, I'm like, so do you get upset when, like, new actors come in to do a different version of Hamlet? No. So it's like, when people say, like, oh, like, it's another From Dusk Till Dawn, I'm like, it's influenced by that for sure, but it's also The Faculty. It's also, like, John Carpenter movies. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think that's something that people never understand the nuances, right?
Yeah.
For the simple fact that this is around black people in the Jim Crow South in the Mississippi Delta.
And it's a love letter to blues music. It's like, come on.
It can't be From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people aren't getting, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it was the exact script from Dusk Till Dawn. And I think people don't watch enough theater, and that's why.
Yeah.
When you watch a play and they change the cast of the play, or they do a revival of the play, the play all of a sudden seems different.
It seems different.
Because you're watching, you're like, oh, this character is black. Now this Wicked is a perfect example. Listen, right?
Thank you.
Now that Elphaba is black, this gives her relationship with Glinda. Totally
it has a
different
layer to it. It has a completely different layer to it for sure.
But people don't understand that, or they don't want to accept that, or they get mad that it's or even in Marvel with Namor, right?
Yeah.
When he became Latino, when he actually was assigned a race because he's never had a race.
That beef between the Wakandans and the Atlanteans, it hits different because it now transcends just like two monarchs going to war, but now it's kind of like a race war. It's a cultural war. It's war between way more than just two guys with power who have beef with each other.
Yes.
And that's what happens when you put that extra layer of race and culture on top of things. Like I say, like I will never want to see another remake of Back to the Future unless Marty McFly was black.
And how was that? How would that be when
you know what I'm saying? Like imagine him going back to the 50s. Where
and you know what's crazy?
You know what
even the 90s, I think.
Even the 90s. I mean, anytime black
90s,
people go back in time, it's gonna be like dicey.
Oh,
it's gonna be a little dicey. But again, you're absolutely right. Putting that extra layer in the Jim Crow South, and like, could it be from dust or not for sure? But you already have that extra layer baked in by adding like the blues music element and what that does for like cultures like that one scene that's probably the best scene ever filmed, like in the last 10 years. The past, the present, the future, like incredible shit. And last thing I'll say on this subject, fucking Princess and the Frog. People think of Princess and the Frog, they think of Tiana now.
Yeah,
that was a white ass story before
and
Tiana touched that.
It's totally, and that was like a Louisiana.
Now it's a Louisiana staple.
Thing.
You know what I'm saying? And that's because it was set there, and now that because you fuck with it, that's what you think of now. But the original was just a princess who kissed a frog and
to your point, I think even if it was Jonathan Major and they were brothers, that comparison, it would still feel very different. But even them being stranded in that club, the brothers were con artists, I believe. You know what I mean? Like, they were both con artists, but it's just very different pretense.
Yeah.
But I think there are other things that would have came in trouble and got in the way of the film if it was Jonathan Majors.
Yes, yeah.
I think the first one is what we were talking about, that duality. If they're no longer twins, that theme of duality and like two sides of the same coin is lost.
Yeah.
I think also the optics of him letting this white woman ruin his life.
They probably would have to do reshoots.
And everyone else, they would have to switch partners.
Absolutely.
And which wouldn't have made sense for Smoke, right?
Yeah.
Smoke was the reliable one. Smoke was the one who knew what was right.
Yeah, he was the father of the two.
Got a black woman.
Yep.
He got a black woman. And what did
he knew what was up.
He
knew what was up. He told him, he said, go handle her or I will. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and yes.
You know
so let's get into whiteness and how that affects people.
Yes.
I'll
I
go
think there's
back.
a lot we can get into when it comes
to
that.
I'll go into my historical facts.
I just made a video today where I talked to Lee Jun Lee.
I saw that about Chinese.
And like, I've titled the video like, Asian representation in like an all black film. And when we say all black, of course there's like white people and like other people in it, but this is like a predominantly like black led film. And one person obviously was in the comments like, it's not just a black led film. There's white people and Asian people in it. Next time think before you post. And I was like,
they just get so bad. So I do have an Easter egg for that, for the Chinese, because we were talking about race with Irish people, and every person that we saw of all the races, they all meant something.
Yes, yep.
A community of Chinese immigrants were recruited by cotton planters to supplement recently freed slaves. By the 1870s, they abandoned the plantations and began opening grocery stores. Because they were no longer considered colored, they could serve both white and black customers. And we see that when we're introduced to the Chinese couple, where Bo Chow leaves the black store and walks to a white store and gets his wife. They own both stores, but they're allowed to serve different cultures. But race as a construct, which is what I want to get into with Haley Steinfeld.
Yes, let's get into it.
Haley Steinfeld's character plays an old friend of Smoke and Stack who identifies currently as white, even though she is an 8th black, and the 1-drop rule exists. Race is not viewed as a natural biological category at this time, but as a social construct. White passing mixed race individuals often chose white to avoid laws of segregation.
Right.
And that's what they're suggesting here, right? That he told her, hey, go be white.
Go get yourself a
and
white man.
And she chose to be white. And she was mad about it.
She
because
did.
she's never truly experienced blackness. And I think that's why she had so much gall the entire film. Right?
She was fucking cutting up.
She was getting me so pissed. Where at this time in the Mississippi Delta, for them to be interacting with this woman who's perceived as white was dangerous every moment. Even for white men not knowing her, if they see them talking, they come and kill you.
He shouted that out. He said, like, what if people see you over here? They'll kill you, and I'll kill them because they killed you.
Or they'll kill me. They're gonna kill me.
I mean, remember, he said, what if they see her, and then they say, like, oh, we looked at her wrong, or we raped them. Now we'll have more on our plate than just a fight.
And even before that, he gives her that speech, and then there's white people at the door. And she comes to the door.
Yeah,
I was gonna.
Now,
I was so excited.
I'm not mad at that. Like, I really ain't, because one, like I think it is important to show like white allyship even like during that time, and I think that's the
allyship. I think it shows how overzealous and well-meaning white allies can make situations worse.
I get that.
The entire point was that if a white person sees you interacting in this juke joint with us, now they'll actually burn this place to the ground. So let's lay low. Let's stay in the back. Yeah. There are white people at the door. Don't come to the door.
Yeah,
they may have been her husband's friends.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
Like her revealing her presence there could have escalated the situation
immediately.
And I totally get that. My thing with like her is, and I'm looking at the and I think this film does this like very, very well, is that there's a lot of either implied history but behind the characters without giving like a ton of exposition. Like, it just casually happens in conversation, right? Like, like one, like obviously you get the like backstory of like, you know, her grandfather was like, you know, half black. Then you get like Stack taught her how to fight, and she could beat every bitch in there.
I did not like that. I did not like. I said, because if Wumi throw hands, you're losing.
Yeah, right? Wumi would have.
Or even Jamie, the mayor.
I think she was looking at. I think she's just looking at these random chicks. Like, I think like Haley Steinfeld in that movie, I think she would have beat fucking Jamie Lawson's ass. Like, I'm not like the Perline.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think Perline's a fighter.
That's fair.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Fair. Like, I think if Perline would have stepped at her, she would have fucked her up. But
I'm not saying I don't see rapport between them.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean with her not recognizing her whiteness.
Yeah.
That rapport should have been able to be like, I need to sit back. If she understood what she was, then she wouldn't have gone to that door regardless of their rapport.
She just was giving off the whole movie that she just don't listen though. Like, that was like her whole thing.
But not listening,
you know,
she can be that precocious because she doesn't understand the repercussions, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
She don't listen because to her, they're being dumb.
Yeah.
She knows better. Mm-hmm. So like them saying like, you shouldn't even be by the door. People shouldn't see you here. Yeah. She's like, y'all being ridiculous.
I mean, she's been white there in the first place. Like Stack told her repeatedly, you got to get the fuck on. Like, you got to get the fuck out of here.
And now you at the door. You're not even supposed to be here.
Like, she was a problem. Like, she was a problem through the whole movie. But I think, like, to me, that's her character, and she paid the price for that shit. And I feel like a lot of characters in this.
They paid the price.
Yeah, they paid the price.
They paid the price. That outbreak may not have happened had she not wanted to be all up in everybody's business.
But again, like, that's like, and I would throw this like on Stack as well, because like of the two, he's the immature one of the two brothers. Like, Smoke is like,
she talked him up though.
She talked him up, and she convinced him. She was like, hey, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna figure it out. And he was like, all right, like, here, take this and like go ahead and do it. And he did that behind Smoke's back, where Smoke is like, nah, we got to keep this shit airtight, bro.
Smoke said himself, he doesn't know how to watch his own back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he said
good
that.
For him.
He said that. And that's what, again, it goes back to like that relationship between Smoke and Stack, where it's like Smoke, he's like always looking over his shoulders. He's the stronger brother. He's the one who killed his father, right? And then Stack, he's like the smooth talker. Like, he knows how to be slick and everything, but at the same time, he's a little bit too overzealous with shit. Like, he kind of like pops off.
And you know what's crazy about it is, at first glance, you're looking and you would consider Stack to be the violent one. Yeah. But before he's turned, he's actually doesn't enact any violence.
No, remember, he's the one who tosses Smoke the knife to kill the snake.
Yes,
like, he lets that happen.
He's actually not violent at all. Yeah. He's just loud and got a mouth on him.
Yeah.
But it's Smoke who is the one who kills the snake. Smoke is the one who murders all the Ku Klux Klan member.
Yep.
And Smoke is the one who actually slaps Sammy, which I thought was very important because they kept on asking, is anyone abusing you? Don't let people hit you. And then as soon as Sammy started tripping, his first movement was to
but he said, whipping. And that was the thing. He was like, I'm trying to save your life, boy. He Smoke doesn't play. And like, this was like in a conversation that I had with Ryan. He said that he wanted Smoke. He didn't say Smoke and Stack. He said he wanted Smoke to not only feel like an old man, but someone extremely dangerous. And like, he's going to get shit done by any means necessary.
He shot 2 people who were just thinking about Robin.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Stack doesn't enact that type of violence. And even though Smoke seems like the one who has it together.
Smoke was the first one to like put his hand on his gun when they were getting the mill sold by the white man. He was the first one. You know what I'm saying? So
and Stack did what? Just walk behind him.
He walked behind him. Like they got each other's back. Like they both have been to war with each other. But Smoke is definitely the one who's always going to make the first move. But it's always measured. It's never like without thought, right?
Yes.
So, but Stack, like he's just very much kind of like, and he understands this. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's my brother. He's got us from that standpoint. But Stack tries to be his brother. He tries to tell what's Haley Steinfeld's character's name?
And Mary.
He tries to tell her to go away. She don't listen. He folds immediately.
Yeah.
You saw the spit. He didn't question the spit not one bit. He was like, baby, you drooling. You want some? Okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't think that was sus, honestly.
You know
I didn't think this spit was sus.
I get it. He folds when it comes to like Mary and certain type of situations.
In that one instance,
you know?
I would have folded if I was into. I'm not going to hold you.
Listen, Josh Allen.
And this is the now second role where Haley Steinfeld is ruining some black man's life over the death of a family member that he bangs with.
Wait, what was the first one? Because I'm thinking
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh God,
she was Gwen.
God,
she was out here as an allied. Miles Morales finds out they trying to kill my daddy.
But Miles, like, you know, he left her behind. He was like, as soon as he found out what it was, he went, "Oh no,
because she hunted him down."
Yeah.
She
before the hunt. This was before the hunt. He was like, "Oh wait, you own some shit." Like he really like
no, but I mean, it all happened kind of together, right?
A little bit.
They say
when
they
he ran,
ran,
she chased. When she ran, he chased. But again, he ran. He didn't say like, Gwen, come with me. We can do this together. He said, "Oh, no.
You saying he's stronger? Dang.
He's stronger.
You saying
he's stronger than Stack?
Stack is not as strong as a 16-year-old.
He's not, bro.
Yo, but that's because, hear me out. Miles Morales is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We train our children right. We are not quick to trust. Yeah. We don't play that. Yeah. My mom was acting funny. Matter of fact, I remember once I took a pill out of my mom's bag, or like I took a pill because I had a headache.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, did you check to see what it like?" Basically asked her like, "You need to be careful." And I was like, "You're my mother." That's a long
You're my
game.
Mom. What are you talking about?
That is a long
Your
game.
Your person's supposed to be safe. What do you mean?
Can you imagine? I'm like, you drugged me after 30 plus years. You said, you know what? I'm just going to birth this child, raise her, get her a career, wait till she's independent. Then I'm going to strike. I would actually respect her if she did.
Honestly, that's teaching.
If that was the lick,
in the fire,
I would be like, you know what?
Throw your ass in the fire. Here's your first lesson.
And I'd be like, you know what? And that's fair. And that's fair. I deserve that lesson,
Mom.
That's fair. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's ironic how we're talking about how Miles is stronger than Stack, and then Shameik is not as strong as Michael B. You've been seeing him during the press tours.
I don't think that I just don't think that he has Riz. And it's so funny. Some people, I've seen some memes that they're like, one is sexual harassment, one is flirty banter. And I was like, actually though, yes, that is the difference, is consent.
Yeah.
He clearly has established a relationship with her where they can joke, they can do this stuff.
I didn't think Shameik ever had that relationship with
I don't think they met outside of press tours.
Yeah.
Versus these two worked together, were on set doing scenes together, spending days together, and they were able to build this rapport. She was meeting Shameik at the red carpet at a junket,
that's
which
what
is
it felt like. That's what it felt like. Because, like, with animation, like, you can do it on separate days and everything. But he kept saying, like, oh, when I'm next to her. But, again.
She's like, dude, I don't know who you are.
I don't think what Shameik did is a big deal, so to speak. Like we all fumble sometimes. Like we all.
I don't
like,
think to her it was a big deal.
To her, it's
that,
not a big
it
deal.
was very weird what she did. What he did to what's her name? Jordan?
Yeah. But look, again, that was corny. Like that was absolutely corny. My thing is like with him and Haley, you shot your shot, bro, and the fact that you have no riz. You just fumbled in front of everybody. If you got cameras on you and you go shoot your shot, it better be a good ass shot.
It better be.
You gotta be what he tried to do is he tried to hit the Steph Curry look away like before it goes in type shit. But he ended up looking like Nick Young. You know what I'm saying?
Put the Nick Young clip
You're not
right there.
Steph, man. You're not Steph.
No, I agree, and I think. Also, I think there's an aspect of the press tour where we're seeing them flirting together. Yeah. That is part of the press tour. They're actors. So I think them flirting and giving off that energy
I think it helps like for the like relate. You saw what it did for the movie Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
But it's a bit. It's a bit that they're doing. They're adding it on to be like
they're two like charming, attractive people. I think anybody who's like attractive and you see them kind of like being charming towards each other, we think like something's happening.
I do think it's very interesting though that is the relationship that's being pushed out in the media when there are two relationships and one that's actually way more stable and more of a foundation of the film, but you don't know until you watch it, which is the one between him and Woomi. Yeah. I think there's some colorism in there.
Listen, I saw an interview, and the interview was from a black woman, and she was talking. It had Haley and Woomi like together in a junket. I almost got them, but then like Haley got sick or something, she couldn't go. But she asked the question when she was like, "Both of you like were with Michael B. Jordan. Like, you're both love interests for Michael B. Jordan in this movie." And, you know, it was an interesting answer where they said, like, oh, basically, like, depending on who he was dressed as on set that day, like, if he was dressed as Stack, Woomi wasn't, like, kind of, like, fucking with him, or, like, there was no chemistry between the two. But when he was Smoke, her love interest, she naturally gravitated towards him, and that's, like, how good his, like, performance was. Yeah. But that was the only time where I did see, like, the push between Woomi and Michael B. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think, because Woomi is like happily married. She's been happily married for like a while. They're both. But Haley is. But I'm gonna say Haley's engaged. But I'm saying like, is there an element of she's freshly engaged? So therefore, it's like people are just kind of like, there's still time to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think this is Ryan. This could be the promotional team and everything. I 1000% think that Haley Steinfeld is just way more marketable to put out that relationship more than Woomi.
I think it's internet edits, to be honest. I think it's
but the internet edit, even when you watch the trailers, the first trailer I didn't even know Woomi was in it. You know
what? In the I'm thinking about this now. The trailers do not show Woomi.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just the edits, and these edits are coming because they're pushing that relationship between Haley and Michael B.
I think it's on the poster. If I'm not even, like,
she on the poster of Floating Heads.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are they like close to each other though? Like smoking.
Not really. They're floating heads.
Let me see.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna look it up.
If a real poster that would show the duel would be both of them, and then both women on either side. Yeah, it's never shown as two love interests. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, everyone is, like, on the poster. Like, this is the Floating Heads poster, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Does it look like poster, right? She's a love interest?
I look at all posters.
Okay, let's get into it.
And, like, so I'm about to go to the WB, like, Instagram, because they post all of them. And I can almost guarantee that there's going to be, like Haley, and, like, that scene where he pushes her, like, he, like, rides up onto her or whatnot. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they put that in the poster. So, hold up. Yeah. Ha-ha. Okay, they do show Woomi and, Smoke like together
in that poster.
But it also shows
I've never really seen that poster.
You see what I'm saying? It's not pushed.
It's not pushed. The Floating Head poster is pushed, and then seeing Haley walking with both of them. Yes. Actually, I thought I saw Haley walking with the two of them. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just pushed that more. It's pushed out more, and some could say Haley. People who don't like to acknowledge colorism and racism will say it's because Haley is a bigger star than Woomi, right? Yeah. And I think that that's an aspect to it.
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
But I think it's a multi-layered. It's a multitude of things of what we're looking at in terms of why they are marketing to just one relationship, a less strong, even though it lasted longer, right? Yeah. It's because she trapped him. True. A white woman trapped this man.
He tried to be free. He crossed a couple states to get away from her. And then she came back.
As white women do.
What was she doing there? Mary? You shouldn't have been in Mississippi.
Died.
You're supposed to be. Oh yeah, she buried
her mom died.
Her mom died.
Yeah, so that was part of her character.
That was part of it. Yeah.
That her mother died. She was
Arkansas.
grieving. And she was mad that they didn't come to her funeral.
Yeah.
And some of that, I think, of her defiance and the reason why she wasn't listening was the fact that she was punishing them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. She playing stupid games, and that's why they all lost, right? Because she's like, I'm going to punish these guys because I am angry with them.
Yeah.
And to my point earlier, she doesn't understand.
Remember, she went out to help them because they were about to go under on the club, too. That was the whole reason why she went out in the first place. To see if the white people have money.
The 3 white people that were in there playing on banjos were going to help the club from going under.
First off, banjos is crazy. It's banjos.
What is it?
Banjos. It's banjos.
Okay, can't hear
You were so bad. You said banjos. Like
I don't, because ain't no way you bringing no
banjo. You want to say bongo so bad.
Banjo.
You want to say bongo so bad.
Banjo. Ain't no way you bringing no banjo in my crib. But.
Hey, like Cornbread said, they actually sounded pretty good though. Like they.
No, not at first.
Yeah, they sounded pretty good.
No,
like,
that didn't. I thought I was gonna get possessed listening to it. It was terrible, but
those other 2 songs that they did though was actually pretty good.
But that's because what?
It was,
why?
You know,
Black people pulled up. Black people pulled up.
Well, Haley pulled up the second time. Haley pulled up the other time. It was like the very softer song, like right before she got.
And she aged black, so she
but
brought.
that song was good though.
She dipped a little blackness up, but that song
she dipped that little tiny black.
More of a lullaby.
But I love that song. I like that song a lot.
Yeah,
I
loved it too, but it was definitely a lullaby.
Yeah,
it was
that
a
other
Cyrus
one with the
song.
fucking bagpipes. That shit was hard.
Yeah, I love a good river dance.
Yo, that river dance was. He was killing it. Yeah. He was killing it. And you know what's also like just. Fuck, that scene is so good because you have the dude in the middle like river dancing, and then you got like a bunch of black people, but you see like their eyes, like it's blurred out, but you see their eyes kind of like dancing around
I
him.
will get into the lighting because I love the way that he made their demon eyes instead of giving them contacts or CGI.
And you know where those eyes
he does
came from too.
A shining light. Oh,
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. You did mention that.
Puss in Boots.
Okay, but before we go to that and we go to the music, in no world were because then I said bongos. Yeah, the banjos.
The
banjos. There's no way these 3 banjo players were gonna get them from going under. No. At most, they were gonna help them. A little bit. And yes, they did have gold.
They had gold.
Yeah, but that was in spite of.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? She got lucky in the one time.
That's true.
That they had
because any other time they wouldn't have been packing like that.
And what would have happened? She would have got a little $1 from them, and they would have more than likely, which they did.
Yeah,
they did end up bringing more trouble than they were worth.
But you know what? That was like the temptation to sell out, though. You know what I'm saying? Like they set out to make something for them. As soon as they start going under, they was like, well, maybe we can start inviting white people. They
get a handout.
And
and what did they do? Ruin their lives.
They ruined everything.
The white man who does come in and not ruin our things is Ludwig.
Yes, my guy.
Ludwig, who is Ryan's boy.
Yes.
And
they've been friends for a long time.
Philadelphia, which is another black vampire comic book story written by Ronnie Barnes. His artist for Philadelphia, which is a very black vampire story, is a white man named Jason Sean Alexander.
Okay,
and it is very white.
That sounds like
but I pressed him about it when I interviewed him. I was like, so why you got this black ass comic with a white artist? And he told me 2 things that I left it alone. He was like, that's my boy. Number one, I know him and he's talented. And at the end of the day, I love his work. We're boys. Yeah. He understands. He has a black wife. He did add that in.
Okay.
And he understands black people, and he goes to learn black people, and he does it with intention. Yeah. And I think Ludwig is the same exact way. They're boys. Yeah. He knows that in the way that Childish Gambino knows that Hero can depict black people well.
Yes.
This is his boy, and he knows that he's going to do music. When he did the Dora soundtrack, he went to Africa. He was sleeping in them huts like the white wolf.
Yep.
And he learned, he recorded them girls live going, and it's a banger.
That shit is like my favorite score of all the Black Panthers. Like that shit, We Know What You Whisper.
Yeah,
that opens Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Yeah. That's one of the hardest.
Yeah, I actually really like his score a little bit better. Yeah. I think the Dora soundtrack from the first score is more iconic.
Oh, it's great.
I love the Talakan score melody.
Yes.
But
even like the way he blended, just kind of like the traditional Oakland hip hop sound.
Yes.
With like those African drums and everything and the chants and whatnot to like do a Killmonger theme.
And you're talking about Killmonger.
That shit
I thought you went back to the film because he did that in the film.
Yep.
He not only blends African music and just black music throughout the times and your favorite scene, but we're not going to talk about that scene yet. I just want to talk just about the theme, the overture, and the theme that he creates. It is first and foremost a horror film.
Yes.
And because he's doing homage to Dusk Till Dawn and things from the 90s, it is what? Guitar heavy.
Yes.
80s guitar. And it's perfect.
That it's like this one note where every time like there's like a reveal or like something happened, it's that dun dun dun.
Oh, it's so good.
Like when Homeboy pops in and goes 7 dun dun dun. That's some iconic shit.
And the sound design throughout the whole film, he does moments like that. Like at one point, who's the head vampire? What's his name?
Oh, Remick,
yeah. Says, Sammy, pass me the guitar. And the guitar goes, and when he looks at it, and I was like, why does he go off like this? Like, and I'm pretty sure when he did the score and when he scored, he did the sound design, he was like, this is my Oscar moment.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, he just won one for an Oppenheimer, so like he's going for two for this one. He did.
I think this is.
I mean, this man
more creative than Oppenheimer.
Honestly, I 100% think so. Like, because again, I want to talk about that scene so bad because it's such a
well, now we can't. I just wanted to talk about the theme, and now we can go to the scene.
But really quick before we jump into the theme, because you know I want to talk about that. But there's a moment where Annie was like doing her little ritual, and she like lit a match, and he did like a little like doing, and it matched with every time she hit the match, so it almost looked like she was strumming a guitar when she did it. Another thing I want to bring up is that another thing I'm gonna keep bringing up when me and Ryan was talking about, because I got a lot of my insight from him.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna bring up the insight from the director.
I never wanted to be like, I know Ryan Coogler, but like I know, like he was talking about like how Smoke at the end of the movie, like his big guitar moment is like when he's shooting that Tommy gun and he's like mowing down all those like Ku Klux Klan members, and he described it as that's his guitar solo, right? And then it wasn't until like my third time watching it, as Smoke is like mowing down these people, Ludwig is literally shredding it on a guitar with this fucking solo, and it's going with the fucking like bullets. I'm looking at this like, bro, in my mind, he literally had a guitar.
It
like,
was like
fucking,
shooting,
like, I was like, this shit is just so fucking like what's the phonically, like that shit was just incredible. Sonically like sound. So anyway, we gotta talk about that fucking
well, before we get into the scene, I think just one more thing with the guitar solo. I think the comparison of them using violence to the being electric guitar to bringing together happiness and love was always acoustic guitar. And so anytime Sammy was doing something, with the exception of when he fought Renrick, it was acoustic. At the end, when he's breaking bread with Stack later,
it was the
acoustic.
The original acoustic.
And he brings up, I don't like that you're using electric. And what he's really saying is, that's violence.
I associate
Leave that
with
violence.
love. And it's cool that you have the flashback of when he first played it and they were driving, and you see this look of like elation on him.
I think that
Plus,
that may have been the first
like,
time that Michael B. Jordan actually heard it, because that
look on his face.
It was too genuine for any actor, for any actor of any caliber to do.
About his face when he saw, like, because like they play, like, obviously it happens in the scene where he plays it the first time, but then when they play it back, like. The look on his face is just so pure and so like,
because
oh my God.
I was making that look when he first said, he said, play a little something, and he was like, I was like,
that was all of us. I was like,
and then I'm looking, I was like, oh, Mike, you too?
Right.
We all shocked here.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very interesting. But now we can't, I know you itching. I'm itching. So there is a little bit of lore that's put behind music, and they talk about how music can bring people together, but it can also bring in demons, which I think is a call to the music industry in general, where it does bring us together. It ties our memories, but these artists who create these music, do bring in demons, and that's why they have these drug addicts. Some people say that they make a deal with
the devil in order to get the talent to play that music as well.
Exactly.
I mean, it also again, we're talking about double entendre. Somebody called Kendrick in the house, but like there's also that extra element of like blues music was known as like the devil's music.
Yes.
Right. Like the person who plays the banjo are the ones who are like conjuring spirits, and that's why his father, the preacher, was like, you got to stop that, because the more you do it, the more you're inviting it. And that was kind of like the umbrella thing where he said, I brought this in, right?
Yeah.
And then you can also like think,
but he literally
did though.
Yeah.
Like and like again, something that I caught on the third watch was that when we're seeing that scene and the conclusion of that scene, and you're looking at the burned down like mill, the juke joint, and you're seeing all the different cultures kind of like dancing, and super duper cool like detail is that you see Cornbread like outside of it, like kind of like guarding the whole thing.
Yes.
Right. But then you see like Remick is looking at it, and it didn't click to me that he's actually seeing all the cultures in one, and that is what attracts him over there.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
But those layers of culture comes from him being black and having an association and interacting with this Chinese couple and hearing that, because I'm sure he's heard, Bo, and I think her name is Grace.
No, Grace, yeah.
Grace Chow. I'm sure he's heard their music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that movie character. Her name is Annie, actually. When Annie is narrating, she's talking about like music is what connects us to our past and our future. And the blues is quite literally music that connects us. Yeah. There's a musical that I just saw a preview for. It's called the Buena Vista Social Club.
Okay.
And it's about music in Cuba during the revolution. You've heard of Celia Cruz?
Yeah.
So like during that time, what happened is like Cuba is segregated. There are black Cubans and white Cubans. And obviously that's creating tension. And a lot of people sang about it, including Celia, who were black. And so they're singing about slavery, their past, and they're putting it in the music, and they're singing it to white people, and white people don't understand what they're saying. Word to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's doing it right now, where they're singing in Spanish, and they're singing about being a runaway slave, but it's so beautiful
it sounds
that you
good.
don't care.
Yeah, you don't even know. I remember seeing that scene for the first time. It was when I watched it with Ryan. Like, it was like his first time seeing it in that 70 millimeter. Like, obviously it's like my first time. I got my best friend with me, and I remember the moment where you see the guy with the electric guitar like pull into the scene.
Yeah.
And like literally me and my boy just like backed up like, whoa, like
what is going on?
What is about to happen? And it reminded me of the one take in Creed, like that one take fight scene, like another scene that Ryan did that just completely
where everything flushed away.
No, you're thinking of Creed 3.
I'm sorry, you're talking about Creed 1. Yes.
Where like the entire fight is one take.
Yes,
like and like I remember watching that and just like my mouth was on the floor that he was able to like just do that, like the choreography, the timing, the acting, from everything had to come together to make that perfect. But this one, you have a room full of people, you have great music happening, and then you got Ludwig behind the scenes like scoring the whole thing, blending one genre into the next. It was like, and also like putting things that shouldn't fit in the scene, like girls twerking like at the tables. You know what I'm saying?
He went really hard with the modern, because he didn't just show girls twerking.
No, he showed Crips and Blood.
Crips and Blood. He showed Bay music. He showed
like that West Coast sound. You know what I'm saying? Like
New York drill.
It was like this is culture. Like this, and this is the importance of blues. This is what it birthed. You know what I'm saying? This is where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in the scene where it kind of like it like leaves, and then you follow Grace and she gets her husband, and then like you see like the Chinese woman like dancing with them, and then it goes back to like Sammy and the guitars like both got their like they're literally playing together, and then you see, and I don't want to like get the tribe wrong, but you see like an African dance with like the full garb.
I knew exactly what. She was going crazy
with it, and then it like concludes. You think it's over when like the house burns down from the inside. You go outside, and then you like see the entirety of this juke joint, just like all cultures, everybody just in there doing this like collective like thing, and then you're seeing like Remick with this look of like, this is like the most beautiful thing,
which is how white people do when they see
that's literally like how it goes.
Wow,
that's literally how it goes. And like this goes to the testament of like the layers of Remick as like an antagonist, of like he's looking at it, and on the surface you're thinking like, oh wow, like I'm going to steal their shit, which he is, like don't get me wrong, but he's also just kind of like
admiring.
He's admiring. He's like, I lost my community, like I lost this shit. I want this.
Yeah.
Like I want to be a part of this,
Yes.
right? It's more than just I want to take. He's like, I want to like. I heard tale of a party. Like, let's go. So like that scene is honestly, it's so far the best shot scene of the year so far.
I think so.
It's the best, but it's one of the best shot scenes in a long time.
And
like,
it's a long take too.
It's a
long
one take.
See, it's hard to say. Maybe in film, it's hard to say best shot scenes when Severance is out. Are you watching Severance?
I'm not watching Severance.
Damn,
so
yeah. There's an episode.
Yeah.
First of all, Severance was like 20 million an episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is that possible? They're in the office. And then I watched the second season. I was like, oh, every episode is a movie, is a film.
Yeah.
And there's one that's half of the episode is shot on film, half of the episode is shot on digital.
Oh shit.
And they practically go from someone's eye to a fax machine. Practically. No CGI.
How the fuck?
Exactly.
Okay.
That to me isn't, but this is.
But I'm gonna say film.
This is
though.
if you do film,
I'm gonna say film.
Film is,
you know what I'm saying? That's
it's
TV.
absolute. TV is cooking on a level that I can't.
Yeah, we're
film
in the
is
golden
not
age of that for
bringing
sure.
it the way that TV is right now.
Yeah.
And I think that
But that's why we have niggas like Ryan Coogler who love
film still,
love that shit,
and still has the autonomy. I also love that scene where is her name Jamie?
Yes. Oh, well, Jamie Lawson is the actress.
Is the actress.
Perline is her character.
Perline.
Yeah.
When Perline is singing,
Woo!
and they're stomping out a man.
That is, listen, people think of IMAX and anything big picture.
I'm always there for the sound.
But it's the sound. And
you
that
feel
sound
it.
goes hard that, hey, you. And you feel
gotta,
you gotta.
Yeah.
I was like, so funny story. Both of those scenes, like especially during like that one take scene with the fucking like blending of cultures, but both of those scenes, like Ryan is like right behind me, and like I'm like literally just kind of like looking at like, nigga, you did this shit. You know what he's doing? He's looking at it. He's just like,
this is him.
Just like in it. He's like, this is it. Like, you know, I'm just like, shit, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
And like, we're all just like, we're in this like and that's like the beauty of like theater. Like, that's when people talk about the theater experience, that's what it should do.
That's what it feels, because it is a musical.
Like. Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I think that Riverdance scene. I said, Ryan tricked us into a musical.
Listen.
And I was like, and I love a good musical. He didn't have to lie to me.
Yeah.
He didn't have to lie to me, but well, not lie. He didn't have to omit the truth from me.
Yeah.
But you know, every song pushed the story forward, and that scene that you like in particular is what a cast. The company song is,
yes,
right? Like whenever there's a song that the entire cast comes in,
yeah.
That's what it is. One of my favorite examples I love to use is from a song called "The Band's Visit." Musical called "The Band's Visit." There's a song called "Answer Me," and the thing about "The Band's Visit," the musical, is that the cast, the ensemble, does not sing a song together until the very last song, which is like unheard of. And in that song, it's about a man trying to answer a phone and he can't get through to his girl. He's been waiting for a call, and it's all of them coming together to talk about people they're longing for. And it's beautiful. I'll send you a link. You'll cry. Please, I'll link that into YouTube for y'all.
I love a good ensemble.
But I felt musical theater all through. Not just the way he progressed the story, but the way that they were layering things. Yeah. The way that Ludwig was scoring things with music. That's what you'll watch in musical. Someone will do something and the drummer is drumming things to emphasize. The guitarist is emphasizing. And I felt that in all of the music.
My God, man.
Y'all, and you know what? I'll go before we get to the top 3 and finish out. When I first initially scored it, I did give it, I think, a 4 or 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
And my one gripe is,
well, last time we talked, you said it was like Michael Jordan's accent. You said it was the accent.
It was the accent. Only that dog points on.
You said that, and I watched it again. I was like, I think it's good. I think his accent is good.
It's terrible. And it's crazy because Wumi's British. And hers was better. But you know,
British people know
some
how to
people
do accents, though.
Yeah,
you know
they be making, they be mocking us for years.
Like, come on.
But it was bad, and there are points because then I watched it again. I was like, maybe I'm doing too hard, and there's times that he gives up on it. There's time that
I can hear it
he's
a little
pushing,
bit,
he's trying to push his acting through, and the accent is holding him back. But he's a great actor, and he has so much charisma.
Yeah, it's
that
like it doesn't matter almost.
Caring,
yeah.
But I gotta be fair.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Especially when Miles is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Sammy's from Brooklyn. And he had...
I mean, his voice, though. He's got a grown man, like, old
man voice.
Right, it was like, he'll know what he says. I'm not too young, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not... He says, I'm not so cute. No, she says something about him not being dangerous or whatever. Yeah. He goes like, oh, yeah, I ain't that safe.
Yes, and he let him up. He was letting him know. And that's the final thing that we could talk about. So that was mine one notch. I wanted to get it out in the air. Yeah. Sexuality and how that's framed. And with Sammy, this is a coming of age story for him.
Yes.
But for everyone
that
else,
ice cream, Sammy. The ice cream.
I love that Stack's first thing, which is also to show that he is the kinder and gentler one. He doesn't start and say, "This is how you fuck a woman." Yeah, I can curse. This is my show.
No,
you can. This is how you fuck a woman. He says, "This is how you pleasure."
This is how you take care of a woman. Like,
how you take care of one.
You know what I'm saying?
And I love that. Versus like, so he's telling him to eat him out. Smoke, who I talked about, was, even though we don't perceive it, more misogynistic, more violent. Yeah. We see him fuck Wumi, who's his essentially wife.
Yeah, I would say he made love to Wumi though. It was like,
he turned around.
Listen,
and you could do that.
He turned around after, but he hit her with the I love you.
He said,
can't stop thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you could fuck people that
literally, he held on. Listen, this man held on to the little like thing around his neck.
And that saved him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he basically said, like, I wanted you to cook for us. You gonna make me say it. Like, I don't. Every day.
I don't think that I'm not doubting that he didn't love her. Yeah. I'm saying his expression of love is rooted in control and possession. Yeah. Over like him saying, I miss you, I love you, let me eat you out.
I mean, Wumi softened him up though. Like I like their relationship because he is like the hardest one, and the only time he kind of shows like vulnerability is with her. Yes. And absolutely. Also, again, caught this on the last rewatch. Though he smiles once in the whole movie. It's in the epilogue. It is with her. It's like,
and even when, and I was afraid he wasn't going to kill those guys at the end, when he's down to the last guy and he sees her, he has to look away, and he shoots that guy. That guy interrupts him talking to her, and he was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, don't spare the grand dragon. I was like, come on, Ryan, you better.
Yeah, right.
And then Ryan's like, I am better.
Yeah, right. Like, wait. Dead baby distracted me. Let me take care of business.
Because I was like, that baby ain't going nowhere. You gonna die.
Right. That baby been dead.
They both dead. You gonna go there in a minute.
They gonna be waiting for you.
You're fine. Right? Go ahead. Good, don't forget.
You doing the earth for service with this one. Come on. Self-defense, man. Self-defense.
I love it. Okay, so we're gonna finish out with our 3 favorites, and then we're going to rate the movie. I do 1 through 5. Okay. So the first thing is, who was your favorite character, one character, and why?
Favorite character, what character, and why?
One character. I'm like,
one character. Favorite character. I'm trying not to choose Michael A. or Michael B. Jordan.
You could.
I know I could. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do either one of those because I feel like it's a little cliche. It's the same reason why I don't say Zoro's my favorite Straw Hat in One Piece. It's like, of course.
It's like everybody
says
like,
him or Luffy, and
sometimes,
sometimes you do have to. But I'm like, because I love Miles Caton in the movie as well. I love Miles Caton. Okay. And what was it that said this is my favorite performance or my favorite character of the scene? You know what? It's just. He's the proxy of the movie. Plus, like, he's the centerpiece of my favorite scene. Like, that beautiful voice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a coming of age film for him, but like also like he's the one who, in a way, has to kind of like, how can I say, like, grow up, I guess. You know, because he's learning from Smoke and Stack that, like, you know, this is the life that I want to be, but like Smoke is telling him, like, you need to do something else with your life. Like, he also defies his father. Like, he's been through all this shit, but he still holds on to the guitar despite everything that he's been through. So I find that to be like a very interesting character choice. But it's probably, I'm gonna say probably Smoke. I think Smoke is like probably my favorite performance from Michael B. Jordan in like a long time.
All right, you
Like,
cheated.
sure.
You said Sammy didn't smoke, but
yeah,
I'll give you both.
Yeah.
Then I'll do two because it is Woomy for me. It is Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she is the backbone of the operation. She's the reason why they survived for so long. She's the reason why they understand what's going on. Down to her cooking fish, cooking for her man there.
Yeah.
She did and I thought she was such a great contrast to what Stack had with Haley, and when she did nothing but make his situation worse. Everything that Woomy did added,
held it down.
This is how we save you. Down to
she said,
the
put
very
your brother
last
down,
scene,
close the door, like
do this,
eat the garlic. Like she was
down to at the end, Michael was about to die, and the protection she put on it saved him. But yeah, she cooking fish for him. She's working the door.
She gave up a little too easy for me though. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean she got bit?
No, the way she got bit. Like she throws the holy water on Remick, and then she stops in the middle of this vampire horde, like running through.
I think she was confused.
To be like,
and then he tackled, he ran in.
I'm like he was right in front of me.
She was, I think she saw something, and once again, she wasn't thinking about herself. She wanted to spread a message to everyone.
And that's
if we
cool.
hit this main guy, they're gonna stop everyone.
You could have just screamed it.
It's hard. It could have, would have, should have. It's confusing.
You could have kept looking ahead.
You harder on her than Haley, who brought this on them.
Listen, and look, Haley's done for that.
And brought this on them. But my real favorite character.
The other thing I'm gonna say, because I have a criticism too. I have one. Like the third act is kind of like, it doesn't make sense when the vampires come in. Yeah. Because they're killing people that weren't there before. We were told the whole movie there's only like 5 people left.
Yeah, there was someone else. I was like, who
are
they eating?
I'm like, who are they eating?
Yeah,
and I feel like he did that because like obviously like these are the main characters that you just can't kill off rip. But you need to show that like people are dying in this thing. Yeah. And he just added random people to get bit. And I was like, and I feel like Ryan Coogler's third acts outside of like Creed and Fruitvale Station, his third acts haven't hit since Black Panther. Like Black Panther was a weird third act. Wakanda Forever had like a weird CG slow motion third act, and then this one, in that fight, there was like some like wonky stuff happening.
But it's getting better because that's such a
it's such a small thing.
I agree.
Like, you know, like all the way up until like, you know, boy goes up in the air in flames. Like it's a good third act. But and that I was like, what the fuck is who's that?
I agree.
Like,
I didn't realize it the first one, but then the second time I watched it, I said, now who are they eating here?
Bro,
and then I hated how the older guy.
Delroy Lindo's Delta Slim.
How he did this come see me, cut his arm. I thought he was gonna have a bomb or something.
Nah. But he said that up like off rip. Like he said like if the devil come knocking, like they're gonna talk to your boy Slim first. Yeah, but he
ain't give him nothing to talk about.
I don't think he was planning on it. I think he was just kind of.
I wanted him to shoot him up.
He was ready to die from like.
Earlier.
He said like that's more days I got left.
I do have one more history fact for y'all at home, Easter egg that I forgot to give, which is with him when we see him. Yes. When they pick him up and they're driving, he sees a bunch of prisoners doing field work. After slavery was abolished, convict leasing became popular, where prisoners were leased like a fucking car to private companies to do work, leading to a rise of imprisonment of black men. And so, you know, black men would get in prison for anything so that they could be slaves still. Yeah. And that was how they supplemented the economy after. And that's something we see with him. And that's something he felt like he had survivor's remorse, and that's why he was drinking. Right. And that's why he felt it. But yes, my favorite character is actually Annie Cho. Okay. I love that. People hated that everyone in the audience was upset when she was like, come on in and inviting all these people. But I felt her. She's like, y'all not activated. Yeah. They said if we don't do nothing, they're going to this village. Yeah. We got to do something. And she was right. Yeah. Maybe they could have prepped a little bit more, but I got her vision.
Mean, they did the thing in one day. Like, you gotta, like, honestly, you're talking about, like, when they opened up the mill, right? Like, did you join?
When she said, come on in, and all the vampires came in.
Oh, yeah.
They were
Grace.
Yeah,
Grace Show. Yeah, you say Annie.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Yes, so Grace Cho. Sorry. Grace Cho was my favorite with the Molotov.
No, but yeah, it was either like wait for them to go to the village and get the daughter. Like she's
not just
the only,
a daughter.
Yeah,
it was everybody. Turn everyone in the village.
Everybody. But she's thinking like, oh, they're going to get my baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was
she was thinking
but she also brought up like, you gonna wait for everybody to turn or whatever?
And then what we're gonna do now? What? And I agree. She was like, we got to handle this
It's either now or like
And y'all being soft. Yeah. I was more mad at what's her name, Perlene, not trying to eat that garlic.
Yeah, no, I think that was like this false tension building because they did the same thing with Delta Slim too.
His made more sense.
Yeah, because he been drinking a lot.
Because he been
But
drinking.
it was like, yeah, Pearline, eat the garlic. It was like, Pearline, eat the damn garlic.
Yeah.
Like
But
why
are you tripping about that?
You know?
It was very weird. But yeah, I loved her. I love that she made a Molotov. I said, oh, she
was
on
ready.
go.
But she she got on her husband and she was just like, I'm a burn. I was like,
yeah, I thought she was gonna. I hated
like,
it.
why'd you invite them in if you was gonna go out on the first one?
Not that,
and not one of them got you. You just sat there and let yourself burn.
And burn. Well, I think it was more poetic, but
it's poetic, but like from a character standpoint,
why
it's
did
like,
she do that? I thought it was poetic, but I thought it was even funnier than when she threw that Molotov cocktail.
Nigga said, boop.
If you were to rate this film 1 through 5, what would you rate it?
You know what? I would have probably before the third watch, I would have given it like a 4.5, like off of that like third act, like just kind of like rigmarole and like character choices and whatnot. But fuck, man, like I'm pushing that to like a 4.8. Like,
you know what? I agree.
I'm pushing that shit to like a 4.8. That shit.
Watching it a second time made me like it more, for sure. Talking to you about it and discussing what I liked and what I enjoyed and the intricacies, the artistry that's in it.
The artistry, man.
And this is things that I think should be rewarded.
Yeah.
And for that, yes, 4.9.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's up there.
And you know what? Like, I think the best thing about it is that not only is there like so much to talk about and to dissect and to like just dive deeper on it, just on its surface, it's an entertaining popcorn vampire flick. Like that anybody can watch, don't have to dive into it and just be like, that shit was fucking rad.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Legally Blonde.
It's
for Legally Blonde for black vampires.
I think I will go as far as to say, like, and I really don't want people to say like, oh, it's exactly like this, but it's like when Quentin Tarantino did Django Unchained. Yes, it's like that. It's like,
and honestly, I think better done.
Yeah, I think it's better than Django. I think it's better than Django. Well, no, for sure.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
The fact that honestly, the fact that we can like argue about it, like that's good. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm on the fence. I said, you know what? Arguably,
I think
we would have to. Damn. The Rick Ross song over the walk was nuts. 100
black coffins. 100 black coffins.
I said, dang, this is ill.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When he comes out with that Tupac, and starts like fucking up. Yeah, I get it.
But you know what was missing, which is something Denzel said, is that Quentin Tarantino is not a black man. And there will always be an ounce of perspective that will be lost when you're telling another story.
100%.
And for that reason, I think you're correct. This is better than Django, but gives that same vibe of exploring the Gothic South.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it should be rewarded. Everyone, if you guys have been here for a full hour, I'm certain you guys watched.
Yeah, I mean, I hope like people love deep dives on fucking.
But some people would watch this and just be like, "Should I watch the movie?"
Yeah.
Yes. I think you should watch it multiple times. Yes. I think you should rent it. I think we're watching one of the greatest directors, the new Spielberg.
Yes.
Like I'm watching this, and even the things that we're talking about, his shortcomings with third acts and things like that, are growing pains.
Yeah.
He still is
this
creating
is only his
incredible.
Film. This is his fifth
ever.
Film. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like his first original like idea film.
Yes.
As well, it's not an adaptation.
It's not an adaptation. It's not based on a true story. It's just from the confines of his mind, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I want to see more of this. He has another Black Panther.
There's another Black Panther.
He has another Black Panther in him.
But yeah, tell everyone where they can find you, which I'm sure they know.
In case you don't know, I'm Straw Hat Goofy. I make content on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, but also I'm the host of the Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy podcast, where we talk about movies with people who make movies. So if you're into that, can I be your movie guy?
Yeah, not Fantastic Frankey. You're on my page, but you can find me on all platforms at Fantastic Frankey, FRANKEY, or on Max or Max's YouTube on the DC Studio Showcase.
Yes, sir.
We're having a good old time.